My name is Isabella Bennett, and I never thought I'd be the kind of woman who'd have to fight for her place in her own home. It was a Saturday morning in our cozy two-story house in Austin, Texas, the kind of place where the sun spills through big windows and makes the hardwood floors glow like honey. I was sitting at our kitchen island, sipping orange juice to settle my queasy stomach, watching my husband, Anthony, poke at his oatmeal like it had personally offended him. The air felt heavy, like the calm before a Texas thunderstorm, and I knew something was coming. After 3 years of marriage, I could read Anthony like a book, his fidgety hands, the way he avoided my ice, the little cough he gave when he was nervous. He was about to drop a bomb, and I had a sinking feeling it was about his family. Let me back up. I grew up in a small town outside Austin, raised by my mom, who worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat after Dad left. She taught me to stand tall, but I always craved a big, messy, loving family, one I thought I'd found with Anthony. He's a high school history teacher, all charm and easy smiles, but his family? That's another story. His mother, Barbara, a retired nurse, treats him like he's still 10, and his sister, Lily, a 28-year-old influencer, thinks the world revolves around her. I've spent years biting my tongue, smiling through Barbara's suggestions about my cooking or how I organize my pantry, all while Anthony nods along like it's normal. That morning, as I traced the rim of my glass, I braced myself for whatever Anthony was holding back, hoping it wouldn't ruin the life we'd built in this house we'd painted together, dreaming of a future with kids and maybe a dog. But the way his spoon clinked against the bowl told me this wasn't going to be a good day. Anthony finally set his spoon down, the clink echoing in our quiet kitchen. He cleared his throat, staring at the countertop like it held the secrets of the universe. Isabella, he said, his voice tight, Mom and Lily are coming to visit tomorrow. My stomach twisted, and not just from the morning sickness I hadn't told him about yet. Barbara and Lily's last visit had left me fuming for days after Barbara rearranged my spice rack and called my chili too rustic. I forced a smile, gripping my glass. Great, just remind them our guest room isn't a 5-star suite. Last time, your mom said the bed was too firm for her back. Anthony shifted, his fingers shredding a napkin into tiny pieces. There's something else, he mumbled, eyes darting to the window. Lily's pregnant, and she says being around you makes her nauseous. Like, her morning sickness gets worse. I was thinking, maybe you could stay at your mom's in Dallas while they're here. The words hit like a slap. My glass froze halfway to my lips, orange juice sloshing onto the counter. Excuse me, I said, my voice low but sharp enough to cut through the tension. You're asking me to leave our home because your sister doesn't like my presence? Anthony winced, his brown eyes flickering with guilt. It's just for a few days, Isabella. You know how sensitive Lily is right now. Sensitive? Lily, who posted every ultrasound with #blessedbaby, thought I was the problem? I'd spent years hosting her, smiling through her complaints about my coffee or Wi-Fi speed, all while Anthony played peacemaker. My heart pounded, a mix of hurt and rage bubbling up. I dreamed of building a family here, in this house we'd made ours, but now I was being pushed out like an unwanted guest. And the worst part? I hadn't even told him my own secret yet. I set my glass down hard, the thud echoing my rising anger. Anthony, I said, my voice trembling with a calm that felt dangerous even to me. Do you have any idea how insane that sounds? Kicking me out of my home for Lily's hormones? My hand shook as I leaned forward, staring into his guilty eyes. For 3 years, I'd bent over backward for his family, cooking Barbara's favorite brisket, ignoring Lily's snide comments about my basic decor. But this? This was a betrayal I couldn't swallow. I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of my secret pressing against my chest. You want to know something? I'm pregnant too, Anthony. 6 weeks. I was planning a big reveal, maybe a cute dinner with baby booties on the table, but since Lily's calling the shots, I guess I had to spill it now. Anthony's jaw dropped, his spoon clattering onto the counter. What? Isabella, why didn't you tell me? His voice cracked, a mix of shock and something like hurt, as if I was the one blindsiding him. Why? I snapped, my throat tightening. So you could do exactly this? Put me in a corner, make me choose between your sister's comfort and my own? I'm your wife, Anthony. We picked out this house, painted these walls, planned a life together. And now you're shoving me aside because Lily's nauseous. My eyes stung, but I refused to cry. I'd grown up watching my mom fight for every scrap of respect. She didn't raise me to crumble. I stood, pacing toward the window, staring at the oak tree we'd planted last spring, a symbol of our shared dreams. How quickly those dreams felt like they were slipping away, all because Anthony couldn't stand up to his family. I turned from the window, my heart racing as I faced Anthony. Tell me, whose pregnancy matters more? Mine or Lily's? My voice was sharp, cutting through the kitchen silence. Anthony opened his mouth, then closed it, his hands gripping the edge of the counter. Isabella, that's not fair. Mom and Lily, they're family too. I laughed, a bitter sound that surprised even me. Family? And what am I, some roommate you can send packing? I'm your wife, Anthony. I've put up with Barbara telling me my mac and cheese is too dry, Lily whining about my Wi-Fi, all while you sit there, silent, like I'm the hired help. I stepped closer, my hands gesturing wildly. Do you know what I go through? I wake up every morning, sick to my stomach, but I still make your coffee because you love that stupid French press. I gag at the smell of your gym clothes, but wash them anyway because that's what you do when you love someone. And now you want me to drive to Dallas, alone, pregnant, because Lily can't handle me in my house. My voice broke, but I pushed through, fueled by years of swallowed frustration. Remember our wedding? You vowed to stand by me in sickness and in health. Where's that vow now? If Lily's so sensitive, let her stay at the Marriott downtown. They've got fluffy pillows and room service. She'll survive. Anthony's face paled, his fingers raking through his dark hair. Isabella, you're blowing this out of proportion. It's just a few days, but I wasn't done. I pointed to the fridge where our wedding photo hung, faded, but still there. That's us, Anthony. Not your mom, not Lily. US. So why am I the one being asked to leave? The question hung in the air, heavy as the Texas heat outside. Anthony slumped back in his chair, his eyes darting to the floor like a kid caught sneaking cookies. Isabella, I didn't mean it like that, he mumbled, his voice barely above a whisper. Mom and Lily, they're going through a lot. Lily's pregnancy hasn't been easy, and Mom's just trying to help her. I felt a fresh wave of nausea, not from the pregnancy, but from the sting of his words. And what about me? I shot back, my hands planted on my hips. I'm pregnant too, Anthony. I'm throwing up every morning, but I still drag myself out of bed to make sure you've got breakfast before you head to school. I'm terrified about becoming a mom, but I don't get to whine about it because I'm too busy keeping this house together while your family treats me like I don't belong. He looked up, his brown eyes pleading. I know you do a lot, Isabella. I'm not saying you don't, but Lily's sensitive right now, and Mom thinks, or Barbara thinks. I cut him off, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Let me guess, she thinks I'm not good enough for you, just like she thought my lasagna was too heavy at Thanksgiving. And you? You just nod along, like always. I paced the kitchen, my bare feet slapping against the tiles. I had an ultrasound scheduled for Thursday, Anthony. I wanted you there to see our baby's heartbeat. But now? I'm supposed to be in Dallas, alone, while you play host to your sister's tantrums. He flinched, his hands twisting the napkin into knots. Isabella, I didn't know about the baby. I just thought it'd be easier. Easier. That word burnt. I stopped pacing, staring at the man I'd promised my life to, wondering how we'd gotten here, where easier meant pushing me out of my own home. I leaned against the kitchen counter, my heart pounding so loud I swore Anthony could hear it. Enough, Anthony, I said, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. You need to decide right now, are you my husband, or are you still Barbara's little boy? Because I'm done playing second fiddle to your family. My words hung in the air, sharp and final. I crossed my arms, feeling the weight of my wedding ring on my finger. If Lily's so uncomfortable around me, there's a Marriott 5 minutes away with a pool and continental breakfast. Let her deal with her nausea there. But me? I'm not leaving my home. Anthony's eyes widened, his mouth opening like he wanted to argue, but I wasn't finished. And let's talk about your mom, I continued, my voice rising. Every time she's here, it's Isabella, your curtains are too bright, or Isabella, you're folding towels wrong. And you? You just sit there, letting her treat me like I'm the mate. Last month, she told me my banana bread was too crumbly in front of everyone, and you didn't say a word. I pointed to the cupboard, where Barbara's gaudy teacup sat, a gift I'd never liked, but kept to avoid a fight. I've tried, Anthony. I've smiled, I've cooked, I've cleaned, all while feeling like I'm auditioning for a family that'll never accept me. But I'm pregnant now, and I deserve better. So choose, are you with me, or are you with them? Because if you pick them, I'll make sure I'm comfortable without you. My chest heaved, tears prickling my eyes, but I held his gaze, daring him to answer. The kitchen clock ticked loudly, each second stretching like a lifetime, as I waited for the man I loved to show me where his loyalty lay. The next morning, I stayed in bed, my silk robe, Carol's birthday gift, wrapped around me like armor. Through the wall, I heard Anthony muttering as he fumbled in the kitchen, pots clanging and the faint smell of burnt toast wafting upstairs. I smirked, pulling the blanket higher. Let him sweat it out. He'd begged me to help, but I'd refused, citing my own morning sickness. If Lily could use hers as an excuse, so could he. The doorbell rang an hour early, typical Barbara and Lily, always throwing us off. I took a deep breath, squared my shoulders, and headed downstairs, ready for battle. The kitchen was a mess, flour dusted Anthony's cheek, and the air reeked of charred bacon. Morning, darling, I said sweetly, pouring myself water as Anthony shot me a desperate look. Having fun? Before he could answer, Barbara's voice pierced the air. Anthony, honey, what's that smell? Is something burning? She swept in, her perfume overwhelming, followed by Lily, in a flowy dress that screamed, look at my bump. Lily wrinkled her nose. It's so stuffy in here, Anthony. You know I can't handle that. I stepped forward, one hand on my stomach, mimicking her Gesture. Good morning, Barbara, Lily, I said, my smile tight. Sorry about the chaos. I'd help, but I'm dealing with terrible morning sickness. You know how it is, Lily, right? First trimester's a nightmare. The room went silent. Barbara's mouth fell open, and Lily froze, her eyes narrowing. You're pregnant. Barbara stammered, glancing at Anthony, who fumbled with his spatula. I just found out, he mumbled. I tilted my head, my voice icy. Oh, didn't Anthony tell you? Guess it slipped his mind when you asked me to leave my own home, because Lily's nauseous. Funny how that works. The air crackled with tension, and I stood tall, ready to claim my place. The kitchen felt like a battlefield, the smell of burnt bacon hanging heavy as Barbara and Lily stared at me, stunned. Leave your home, Barbara repeated, her voice sharp. Isabella, you're being dramatic. Lily clutched her dress, pouting. I just need a comfortable space, Isabella. It's not personal. I laughed, a cold, brittle sound. Not personal? You asked Anthony to kick me out because I make you nauseous. But guess what? I'm pregnant too, and your perfume, Barbara, makes me want to hurl. Should I ask you to leave? Lily gasped, and Barbara's lips pursed tight. Anthony stood frozen by the stove, his spatula dangling uselessly. I leaned against the counter, my heart pounding, but my voice steady. This is my home. I'm not going anywhere. If you can't handle that, Lily, the Marriott's got great Wi-Fi for your Instagram posts. Barbara tried to intervene, her tone patronizing. Isabella, we're family. Let's not make a fuss. But before I could fire back, Anthony did something I never expected. He turned off the stove, wiped his hands, and stepped beside me, his arms sliding around my shoulders. No, Mom, he said, his voice firm. Isabella's right. This is her home, and she's my wife. She's carrying my child. If you can't respect that, there's a hotel 5 minutes away. My breath caught, tears stinging my eyes, not from anger, but from the shock of him finally choosing me. Lily's pout faltered, and Barbara's eyes widened, like she'd been slept. Anthony Lily whined, but he shook his head. Enough, Lily. We're done. His hand tightened on my shoulder, grounding me, and for the first time in years, I felt seen. The room was silent, the weight of his words sinking in, and I knew this was the moment everything changed. The silence in the kitchen was deafening, broken only by the faint hum of the fridge. Barbara sat down heavily, her usual composure cracking. Well, she said, her voice softer. Maybe we got carried away. Isabella, congratulations on your pregnancy. Her words felt forced, but I nodded, wary of her sudden shift. Lily, still pale, mumbled, yeah, congrats. It's nice our kids will grow up together. Her tone lacked warmth, but it was a start. I crossed my arms, glancing at Anthony, who still stood by me, his arm a steady anchor. Tunks, I said, my voice cool but civil, but let's be clear, we're all adults here. If we're going to share this space, it's with respect. No more, Isabella, your cooking's off, or Isabella, leave your home. Barbara cleared her throat, smoothing her blouse. I could help with meals, she offered, glancing at Lily. For both of you. No spicy sauces, my chili days are over. I raised an eyebrow, surprised but cautious. That'd be nice, I said, testing the waters. Lily shifted, her pout softening. I'm not great with smells either, she admitted, almost human for once. Maybe we can figure it out together. Anthony squeezed my shoulder, his eyes meeting mine with a flicker of relief. Deal, he said. I'll handle breakfast tomorrow, without burning it. I smirked, the tension easing just a fraction. We'll see about that. The air felt lighter, like the first breeze after a storm. We weren't a perfect family, but for the first time, it felt like we might find a way to coexist. I looked at the oak tree outside, its leaves swaying, and thought maybe our little family, Mina, Anthony's, and the one growing inside me, could grow strong too, if we fought for it. That night, as the house quieted, Anthony and I lay in bed, the moonlight filtering through our bedroom curtains. He turned to me, his hand finding mine under the covers. Isabella, I'm sorry, he said, his voice low and earnest. I was wrong to even suggest you leave. You're my family, you and our baby. I promise I'll do better. His words wrapped around me like a warm blanket, soothing the ache of the past 2 days. I snuggled closer, resting my hand on my stomach, where our future was just beginning. Don't forget that, I whispered, my eyes heavy. This is our home, Anthony. US. He kissed my forehead, murmuring, never again. I swear. I closed my eyes, letting the weight of his promise settle, feeling a spark of hope that our little family could weather any storm. The next day, Barbara and Lily stayed, and we found a fragile rhythm, shared meals, careful words, and small steps toward understanding. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start, like planting a seed and trusting it'll grow. Our oak tree outside stood tall, a reminder of what we could build if we held on. To everyone who's followed this journey, thank you. You've walked with me through hurt, fights, and that moment when Anthony finally stood by my side. If this story hit home, hit that subscribe button and join us. Every fight, every tear, every triumph. It's all part of building a family, one messy, beautiful step at a time. Keep standing up for your own truth, and I'll see you at the table.